Good morning, Team Crypto, and welcome back to another episode of the news. Today, we've got quite a bit to go over. If you guys don't already know, we have the Miami Consensus 2022 going on right now, and there is quite a bit of Bitcoin influencers or crypto influencers that are going to be there, and we're going to be going over that today. We also have some market wrap and some first movers and a little video of Kevin O'Leary. So let's start off today by showing GoTeamCrypto.com. This is our website, and you will find our videos. Team Crypto YouTube channel. This is where you'll find all my news with Team Crypto episodes. And let's go over the market cap. Right now we're sitting at 2 trillion. Looks like our Bitcoin dominance is 41%, our Ethereum dominance is 19%, and our Ethereum gas is 41 Gwei. Our fear and greed index, we're sitting at 34. We are very fearful, which is, of course, a good time to be adding to your bags, not a time to be letting go of your bags. Miami Bitcoin Conference. World's largest Bitcoin conference returns to Miami for 2022. Miami Beach Conference Center is set to welcome thousands of visitors and fintech industry leaders for the largest Bitcoin event in the history of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin 2022, from April 6th to the 9th, will bring together company founders, C-suite executives, Bitcoin holders, and industry experts to fulfill their mission of mass Bitcoin adoption and hyper-Bitcoinization. The 4-day Bitcoin conference will include an industry day for speaker panels and conferences, as well as Sound Money Festival on the last day with live performances, entertainment, and other giveaways for attendees. Attendees will have in-person access to thousands of global decision makers, increase their brand's visibility, get important face time with clients and partners, and celebrate one of the world's largest, fastest growing technologies. The 2022 conference in Miami Beach, Florida in April will close with the first annual Sound Money Bitcoin Music Festival. The festival will feature Logic, Steve Aoki, Deadmau5, CL, and Run the Jewels, and others to close out the world's biggest Bitcoin conference. Sound Money Festival gates open April 9th at 10 a.m. and go till 10 p.m. Sound Money Festival will take place at the Combined Pride Park and Miami Beach Conference Center in Miami Beach, Florida. They are both indoor and outdoor elements to this one-of-a-kind music festival. Sound Money Music Festival. I like Logic, Steve Aoki, great guy, Deadmau5. There's a few of them that I haven't heard of. Run the Jewels, Sand Holo. This sounds really exciting. A lot of fun. You know, I would love to be there right now. It's going on now. 6th to the 9th. Looks like there's going to be another one going on in Austin, Texas, June 9th to the 12th. The Festival for the Decentralized World. So the 2022 Consensus Festival is a showcase and celebration of all that crypto has to offer. Thousands of world's brightest minds and impactful voices will take over Austin, Texas, June 9th through the 12th, and expect to see events and parties in the days before and after. This one is going to have 15,000 people show, 400 plus speakers, 4 days of experiences, and over 100 sponsors. This shows some of the sponsors, and you've got Sam Bankman-Fried, who is CEO of FTX, Mike Novogratz, Chao Peng Zing, which is BZ CEO of Binance, Edward Snowden. We all know who Edward Snowden is. Yeah, there's going to be quite a few people that are going to be here for this one. And wow, there are the prices. About $1,000 is your general admission ticket. Yeah. Let's go back to Miami here. As crypto takes Miami by storm, what's in it for the rest of South Florida? For South Florida cryptocurrency fans, 2021 was an exhilarating year as Miami positioned itself as a would-be capital for the industry nationwide. The city hosted what was billed as the largest crypto conference ever, opened the door for its own coin, bearing the city's name no less, and welcomed an array of companies that moved their headquarters or set up their outlier offices in Miami's Brickell Avenue financial district. Cities really only have two choices, Mayor Francis Suarez said at a recent Bloomberg-sponsored event in Miami. They can pretend it doesn't exist, or they can face those realities, embrace that disruption, embrace the change. Whether other South Florida cities and counties will follow Miami's lead in the coming year remains to be seen. Despite wild swings in the price of Bitcoin, the groundbreaking digital asset, or perhaps because of them, the region's consumer has eagerly sought to get a piece of the action for the last several years. This week, he said, he personally holds both Bitcoin and Ethereum, the second biggest cryptocurrency in market cap after Bitcoin. Udine said he is also interested in finding ways to use crypto so that unbanked consumers or those who have not got bank accounts can enter the financial system. There have been some different stakeholders on conference calls about banking the unbanked, he said. They include FTX, the Bahamas-based cryptocurrency exchange platform that allows users to trade cryptocurrencies, and OIC of South Florida, a nonprofit workforce training and educational service. There is a need. Last June, a senior executive, and two economists with the Federal Reserve Bank of New York noticed in a white paper that roughly 1 in 20 American households do not have a checking or savings account with a bank. Inadequate access to financial services push the unbanked to use high-cost alternatives for their transactional needs and can also hinder access to credit when households need it. The authors wrote that in turn can have adverse effects on the financial health, educational opportunities, and welfare of unbanked households, thereby aggravating economic inequality. That's deep. I agree 100% with that. Udine said it's too early to tell what can be done for county residents who lack access to basic financial services. We're trying to see if we can come up with something in the crypto space, he said, adding the solution could involve a crypto-type debit card that could be replenished from time to time. If they could come up with some kind of, well, Cardano's doing it right now in Africa, where they're trying to take everyone that's unbanked and get them set up with accounts. I think the main problem is that identification and social security cards in Africa, but for Miami that should be a little easier because most people here in the U.S. already have a social security number and a driver's license or some type of ID. Dcentral Austin. This one is going on in Austin, Texas. Web3, NFTs, metaverses, talks about some DAOs. This one is June 7th to the 8th at Long Center for the Performing Arts. And here's a little intro to it. And this is in Austin, Texas, June 7th and 8th. So yes, Dcentral Austin, June 7th to the 8th. Be there, be square. So I got all the consensus, festivals, all the good stuff out of the way. Now let's get into some Bitcoin news. As we all know, of course, the price of Bitcoin, as I am recording this right this very second, is around 43,400. Just to kind of give everybody an idea, and Ethereum is at $3,200. Bitcoin extends pullback towards $40,000 to $43,000 support. Bitcoin broke below the month-long uptrend. Bitcoin remains in pullback mode after failing to break above $48,000 resistance level last week. The cryptocurrency was trading around 43.9 at present time of writing and could find support at 40 to 43,000. Bitcoin is down 4% over the past 24 hours, which is less than some popular alternative cryptocurrency or altcoins, indicating a lower appetite for risk among crypto traders. Bitcoin broke a month-long uptrend. That means short-term sellers are in control, especially after the breakout level of around 45,000 was rejected on Tuesday. Recent breakdowns on the charts have confirmed negative momentum signals. Although pullbacks appear to be limited, for now, the broader recovery from January lows remain intact. It's not the best news, but it is news nonetheless. Bitcoin has pulled back a little bit, but when it goes down, it gives us more opportunity to go up. Again, market wrap, altcoins underperform as traders reduce risk. Again, Bitcoin is reducing itself, but as we go down, just gives us more room to pop up. Most cryptocurrencies traded lower on Wednesday, tracking losses in global equity markets. Minutes published Wednesday from the U.S. Federal Reserve March meeting signaled that half-point interest rate increases could occur at coming meetings. That sent markets lower as investors continued to position themselves for aggressive monetary policy tightening, which typically leads to higher volatility. So this is talking about, let's read this. In Asia, China's Shanghai Composite Index outperformed regional peers over the past trading day. Although sentiment among global investors has been negative, still some technical indicators show deeply oversold conditions in some emerging market equity indexes. That could attract short-term buyers who demand exposure to speculative assets, including stocks and cryptos. Bitcoin was down by 4% over the past 24 hours, although technicals indicate support around 40 to 43,000. This could stabilize the week-long pullback in price. Meanwhile, alternative cryptocurrencies decline, such as Ether by 5%, a 14% drop in Rune, and an 11% fall in Dogecoin. Despite the crypto pullback, the Luna Foundation Guard continues to stack up the Bitcoin. The foundation has roughly 35,767 Bitcoin, worth about 1.5 billion in its reserve, which is larger than the 1.2 billion worth of Bitcoin held by the electric car company maker Tesla. So again, as we go down, just realize that this is a great time to purchase. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. Apparently, so does Tesla, and so does the Luna Foundation Guard. Next, and to finish us off, first mover Asia. South Korea's Kimchi premium evaporates. Major cryptos tumble on Fed minutes. Continued global uncertainty. The gap between Bitcoin prices on Korean crypto exchanges and global counterparts has declined from 20% to about 3% over the past year. Bitcoin and Ether tumbles. So what this is basically referring to is we used to have somewhat of an arbitrage between our markets and Korea's markets. People would take advantage of that. And before, it was almost a 20% difference. Well, now it's gotten down to about 3%. So what the price of Bitcoin is for us is almost what the price of Bitcoin is for South Korea. Let's see. Crypto and equity markets haven't always been in step in recent months. But on Wednesday, they were, following another day of macroeconomic turmoil stemming from Russia's unprovoked invasion of Ukraine and fresh evidence of the U.S. central bank's transformation into the monetary hawk. Bitcoin was recently trading below 44,000, where it dropped earlier in the day, less than a week after soaring of over 47,000. The largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization was off nearly 5%. Ether, the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap, fell on even harder times, tumbling almost 7% to change hands of about $3,200. Guys, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. And as I leave you, I'm going to give you a little bit of Kevin O'Leary at the Bitcoin keynote conference going on in Florida, Miami, Florida. And here we go. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I want to talk about indexing for a moment. Now, many of you know what that is if you're an institution, but let's say you're a very, very wealthy Middle East sovereign fund and you're managing, I don't know, $500 billion. And you don't need any more oil as an investment because you've already got that in the ground. So you go to an indexer like me and say, look, give me the S&P, less energy, less airlines. And that's what indexers do. So we as an industry get to see fund flows 24/7 every day. And there are billions of dollars out there waiting for policy, because for all the excitement about Bitcoin, for all the excitement about crypto, for all of the wonderful productivity, these products and blockchain, and everything that's promised that you're going to be hearing about the next 3 days, these massive pools of capital, these trillion-dollar pools, own this much crypto, this much, practically nothing. It's the purvey of high net worth individuals, hedge funds, and retail investors. And that's okay. But what we're missing is policy. When we get policy and the regulator regulates, that's not a negative thing. The spigots of capital are going to flood into this sector like you've never seen. And so for those of us that can invest in it now, you're getting ahead of what's going to be a huge wave of interest when policy occurs. I predict in the next 10 years that crypto, blockchain, Bitcoin, all of this innovation will be the 12th sector of the S&P. Now, why do I say that? Because Bitcoin is not a coin, it's software. Ethereum is software. Avalanche is software. Helium is software. Solana is software. It's all software. And the smartest hands over keyboards today in the world are developing on the chain and bringing innovation to financial services, which in the end is the largest sector on earth. Now, what we need is policy. We need government to catch up with us so that we don't lose leadership in America to this very important 12th sector of the economy. There's no question. So let me give you a quick update, because I've been spending a lot of time in Washington in the last 3 months, a lot of time. And the good news is, on a bipartisan basis, there are many senators and reps that are thinking about this in a proactive way. So I'm going to give you what I'm calling the 5 vectors of policy and give you an update on where we're at on this stuff, because I've actually read these bills. They're big, a lot of reading, a lot of bedtime reading here, but there's a lot of good innovation occurring. Let's start with the big daddy bill that's coming out of Cynthia Lummis. She is coming here on Friday to give a keynote. This is a very important milestone, to have a senator come here and address this important sector with a bipartisan mandate. That signals that regulation is coming, and that is a good thing. That's vector number 1. Vector number 2, the president himself, in his direct order, his executive order, talked about crypto as something that he wouldn't make illegal. That was the most important message in there. But there was also a concern about climate change, we'll get to in a minute. Then there's BlackRock, the Larry Fink mandate that has discussed this sector as well, also a concern about ESG and climate change. Last night at 6 o'clock, Bill Hagerty dropped a bill. 2 pages. I spoke to the senator last night. A 2-page bill that would make stable coins legal. This is a genius piece of legislature. If it's 2 pages, every senator can read it. And it's very simple. What this says is this. Why is this any different than a money market fund? Why can't we have a simple audit every 30 days with the underlying security inside of it, whether it be USDC or any other stable coin? And why can't we limit the duration of the asset to 12 months or less? And then why don't we let the market compete to provide stable coins, which are now way past $100 billion, and allow institutions to put this on their balance sheets? 2-page bill. There's a senator that wants to do business. I, of course, applaud this mandate because my own auditor won't let me and my operating company do anything with stablecoin because there's no regulation on it. So maybe the best way to approach this for all of us that are interested in crypto is to pick one pillar of value. And right now, I would argue that stablecoins are one of the fastest growing asset classes outside of Bitcoin, and help this become policy and law, and watch what happens. And the reason you should care is, if it's backed by the US dollar, it will become the reserve currency of the earth. That's what will happen. And why would we want to give that up to any other country? Why would we ever give that innovation up? So let's regulate this. Let's get behind this bill and make it happen. And I'm not asking the federal government to write one line of code. That's not their job. Let the free market, let the private sector develop these stablecoin products and let them compete, just like Fidelity competes with their money market fund, like Schwab competes. They're regulated and everybody uses them when they have a cash balance on their account. Let's do the same thing here. That way, we have the innovators coding and we have the government regulating. That's a great outcome. It's coming soon. Now, let's talk about the minefields in the 5 vectors of policy. We'll start with the SEC. Now, I don't know if you read these memorandums, but a few weeks ago, they started proposing that in addition to financial audits in all companies that are public, in all 11 sectors of the economy, that they have a carbon audit, that they get somebody, if you claim that you're carbon neutral, you're going to get audited every quarter. Now, in the Bitcoin mining industry, where I'm a participant, the way we get carbon neutral is we buy carbon offsets. The problem with a carbon offset is the tracking error is so huge that no public auditor will sign off on those statements. You can say you're carbon neutral, but there's nobody going to sign it at the risk of being offside with the SEC. So if the SEC adopts that policy, That's bad for proof of work. And it's bad for Bitcoin mining because the first pioneers of this in the US were very concerned about being ESG compliant, and they went to that market. They went to the offset market. 2 weeks ago in the EU, they tried to ban proof of work because they were so concerned about how much carbon it was doing. Now, here's why Bitcoin mining is going to save the world. If this policy gets implemented, because it's also in the ESG mandate that Larry Fink at BlackRock put in place, and it's also mentioned directly deep in the executive order of the president himself. It's a direct swipe at Bitcoin mining. But why is Bitcoin mining good for the earth? Because the next generation of Bitcoin miners, and some of them are represented right here, are starting to work with energy that does not require carbon. Hydroelectricity and nuclear power, wind and solar. The drive to produce Bitcoin is so economic in value that they will go ahead and fund the next generation of machines and turbines. 90% of dams built in America in the last 100 years contemplated hydroelectricity, but never installed the turbines. I'll install the turbines. Why? Because it's great economics if I can use that and not be hassled by a carbon audit. This is the future of Bitcoin mining. We will be developing power for all communities while we mine coin in an ethical and 100% green mandate that we can do with hydroelectricity. This speaks to Montana. It speaks to the Tennessee Valley, upstate New York, Quebec, Canada, northern Norway. All of these places, Georgia, have an abundance of unused hydro, and that is the future of Bitcoin mining. And it's a good thing. It provides for communities. It provides extra power. And the capital required for this is unlimited. Now, the beautiful strategy here is when we get policy, this is the Loomis bill right here, and there's lots of good news in this thing. When we make Bitcoin an allocation for institutions, which they do not have yet, what I predict will happen, they will put between 50 basis points and 3 basis points or 300 basis points into their portfolios. How much money is that? Trillions of dollars. So if you want to see Bitcoin appreciate in value, if you're an advocate like I am, because it's software and it's a property and maybe it's a currency, you want regulation. You embrace this and you stand back and watch the capital pour into this. And to celebrate this idea to the moon, I'm wearing my Snoopy Omega today that has Snoopy going to the moon on it. This watch has gone up 4,000% in value in 24 months because of you. You love Snoopy. You love going to the moon. You love this watch, and so do I. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, guys. I do appreciate you hanging out with me there. I almost choked on some coffee at a little recording issue, but thank you for hanging out with me. Bitcoin, again, is sitting at, let me refresh this so I can give you today's numbers here. All right, so we have Bitcoin at 43,492, Ethereum $33,193, Binance Coin $430, Solana $114, XRP 77 cents, Terra Luna $103, Cardano $1.07, Avalanche $83.79, Polkadot $20 even, Dogecoin 14 cent, Binance US, Terra US, Shiba Inu 2,000. Sorry, still choking on that coffee. Shiba Inu 2,469 satoshis. Polygon $1.48. CryPTOCURRENY 44 cents. Litecoin $113. Cosmos $27.25. Chainlink $15.60. Uniswap $10. Tron 6 cents. And Ethereum Classic $41.85. Algorand 78 cents. Stellar Lumens 21 cents. Dcentral $2.39. Hedera hash bar, 21 cent. Filecoin, $22. Internet computer, $18.96. And Monero, $216. Thank you very much. Do have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will be talking to you next Tuesday and Thursday. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. See ya.